How's it going, noble ones? It is me. Let's start. Today we'll be talking about chapter 20. It's basically broken down into the parable that Jesus foretelling his downfall, his suffering, and then after that the story continues with him and his adventures. It first starts with a parable of how Jesus describes the kingdom of God. And it starts by a master having a vineyard. He goes looking for laborers or workers, and they agree that he will be paying them 1 denarius, or we could just say in this example, a full day's wage. Back in their days, right? They worked from 6 a.m. to 18. That's something you should think about when you're reading this parable. Because after that, he goes again to the marketplace to get more workers for his field, his vineyard. He goes at 9, 12 again, and 15. And all those times he agreed with the workers that he will be giving them 1 denarius or as much as he can give them. He goes then again at 17 to look if there will be anyone at the marketplace still looking for work. And that's when he finds people. And he asks them, "Why are you guys here? Why are you standing idly by?" And they're like, "We're in need. We're desperate for work." And he's like, "Okay, come to my vineyard and work." And after that, at 18, when they're done working, he has his manager pay the people, the workers, their wages. The people who started last are the ones who get paid first, and they are given 1 denarius. And then it goes like that until the people who started at 6 a.m. and it's their turn. They're thinking, since we worked so hard, that means we'll be getting paid more. But they're only given 1 denarius. And they start complaining and be like, "What? Weren't we working way harder and way longer than all these people? Why are we giving the same as them?" But then the master is like, "Wait a minute. We agreed on 1 denarius. And I agreed with these people for 1 denarius. It's my money. I can give how much of it to anyone I want. And with you and I, we agreed on 1 denarius. I never said I was going to pay you more or less." So this is a parable about rewards. And it's also a warning for those who have started working in the vineyard or just doing God's work, like proclaiming and going around and letting people know about Christ. That those who started first may not get the same. Well, I won't say may not. Those people who started first, like the apostles in their era, like the first church, they will be getting paid the same as us who are starting later, nearing when he was going to be coming back. And it's also for those who started before us not to look down on us and despise us for coming after. It might be that too. We don't know. After that, Jesus reminds him of his suffering. That let me get the notes. That he will be delivered over to the chief priests and scribes, and they will condemn him to death. And he will get flogged, mocked, and crucified. But on the 3rd day he will rise up again. While he was saying all this, there was a whole crowd around him too. And one of his and the mom of the sons of Zebedee, so that is John and James, their mom came to Jesus, knelt down, and asked if her sons can sit at the right hand and left hand of Christ. And Christ said to her, and he asked the guys, "Are you guys willing to drink from my cup?" And they were like, "Yes, we will. we are gladly going to do that. But what cut me in this situation is the upcoming suffering that Jesus will be going through. That he will get mocked, beat, just even though he did nothing wrong. And he asked them, are they willing to go through with that? And they're like, yes, we are. But then he also reminds them, only the Father has, only he chooses who sits where. But sitting at the right hand of Jesus and left hand could have been a political move that the mother used, or they could have used James and John so that they can be close to Jesus and be the most honored. Because when you sit next to the king, when you're his right hand man, you're like one of the most highly sought after person after the king. And that's what they wanted their positions to be in the kingdom of God. But just like how Jesus sits at the right hand of God, but Jesus cut all that out, and he told them that only the Father chooses who sits where in his kingdom. Looking into church history or Acts, it is shown that James was the first to get martyred. He was killed by King Herod by a sword. That's what Acts 2 says. And John, the one who wrote the Revelation, he's the one who suffered persecution and exile. So they do end up actually drinking from Christ's cup. So after hearing all of this, the mom's gonna have the boys sit at the right hand and the left hand of Christ, the rest of the 10 disciples, they get indignant and enraged. But Jesus tells them that even though the Gentile rulers who try to use that as a selling point for someone to be his right hand man, even and to try to show people that that's the best they can do in your life, that's not what Christ came to do. He reminds them that he came to serve and give his life a ransom for many. That Christ himself came to bail us out from our sinful nature. If you want to be great in Jesus' eyes, you must serve. That's what minister means. And this is a good memory verse to always think about. So Matthew 20:18 says, "Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many." Yes. And after that, as Christ was passing by Jericho, a whole crowd was already following him by then, and two blind men who they didn't really see him, who knew he was coming. They're like, this is our chance. And they cried out to Jesus, asking to have mercy on them. But then the crowd was like, nah, bro, shut up, keep quiet. But then they even cried out more and louder for Christ. And that's when he stopped. And he went to them and asked, what do you guys want from me? And they said, please, Jesus, our eyes, we're blind. And Jesus, in pity, touched their eyes and they were healed. And from then, they got up and followed him. That's how we need to be. They knew their problem, and they had a chance for the one who will save them. That chance came, they took it. And they went to him because they knew he will fix their problem. and asked for mercy and cried out for Christ, for Him to come to them and to come and heal them. And that's how we need to be too, because we know we are sinful, and we know that this life leads to destruction and death and separation from God. And because of that, we need Him, that He is the answer, and that He is the only one who can get us out of it. And that's why I'm really thankful for reading this last few passage, because it reminds me of what my life is, and that I need to cry up to Christ when I know I can't do it more, or I can't continue on, because I know myself. I am flawed, I am imperfect, and only Christ can make me perfect. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Sorry for being late. I'm going to be getting a mic soon, so that'll be cool. So happy Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, and for all those who are away from home like me, Jesus is with you. Peace out, noble ones.